All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the last session of today. I am very proud of all of you. It's been a long day. We got up very early. Many of you are faces I saw at the bar last night, so even more kudos to you. This is actually one of the sessions I've been most excited about. Obviously, I mentioned earlier that one of the critical issues that we're facing is government and industry collaboration. Again, you know, everyone from Vec Kundra all the way down talks about this. And one thing that you all always ask of us is to identify some key technology partners of ours and give them an opportunity to come answer some of your questions. So what we've done is taken some of our partners, asked some of you some questions that you want us to be asking of them, and put together a nice panel for you. What I'm going to do to make sure that we stick to the questions is I'm going to have a brief overview of each person and what their organization does, and then we'll get right into it. The theme of this session is basically today's most biggest government technology threats. In a nutshell, we've been hearing today from a lot of government executives presentations as to what you all think are the biggest threats. I think that we can all agree industry folks probably have a different perspective because they're the ones ultimately implementing and delivering some of the solutions and technologies you're looking for. So this is our chance to get some input from them and get some questions answered. First up, Paul Barter from ExteNet Systems, and I will have name cards in a moment. Paul Barter is the VP of Federal and Strategic Initiatives at ExteNet Systems. ExteNet Systems designs, builds, and operates indoor and outdoor mobile voice and data distributed networks for all the major wireless carriers and the federal government. ExteNet System delivers multi-carrier managed and secured mobile voice and data access at the physical layer of these distributed networks with scalable capacity. A little bit about Mr. Barter. He has over 23 years of consulting engineering experience, including building power distribution, emergency systems, indoor communications, and indoor mobile voice and data distributed networks. He was responsible for the design, construction, and operation of the mobile voice and data distributed network in the 2.7 million square foot headquarters of the securities of the SEC in Washington, D.C. Built in 2004 and upgraded in 2010, it remains the only system in the country that serves the 4 largest national wireless carriers and 4 public safety entities on one unified distributed network. Next up, Dave Keeler, to the corner of my right. He is from Q1 Labs. Q1 Labs is the largest independent SIEM vendor and a global provider of high-value, cost-effective security intelligence products. The growing company's flagship offering, QRadar, integrates previously disparate functions, including risk management, log management, network behavior analytics, and security event management into a total security intelligence solution. QRadar's integration of security information event management, risk management, and network activity exceeds the requirements for FISMA's performance metrics, including automating network device discovery, databases, operating systems, and servers. Q1 has addressed the network security challenges of many government sector customers, including Army, VA, Treasury, NASA, IDA, Naval Air Force Command, USPTO, and the Defense Security Service. And a bit about Mr. Dave Keeler. He's a director of federal sales. With over 25 years of federal experience, Dave oversees federal sales at Q1 for selected DoD and civilian accounts. Prior to joining Q1, Dave led executive and sales positions at Microsoft, Oracle, DEC, and CA. Chris King is director of product marketing for Palo Alto. Chris is right over here. Chris King is Director of Product Marketing for Palo Alto Networks. Previously, Mr. King held strategic and product marketing roles at Blue Coat Systems, including responsibility for marketing and strategy for Mach 5, Blue Coat's application acceleration solution, which he launched and helped grow to a $160 million a year business. Prior to joining Blue Coat in June 2004, Mr. King spent over 8 years as an information technology analyst for Meta Group, an internationally recognized expert on info security. Mr. King has consulted with hundreds of large IT organizations, spoken before a variety of audiences, and is often quoted in trade and security press. Michael Singer, who is the far right, is Executive Director for Security Technology at AT&T. Michael's area of expertise includes software development, operations management, and cybersecurity. He has filed for 7 patents. Currently, Michael leads the Gemini program team, focused on developing and integrating security technologies for the benefit of AT&T customers. Today, he is here representing AT&T Government Solutions, a business unit of AT&T Corporation that focuses exclusively on supporting the federal government. AT&T Government Solutions blends unmatched network resources and IT professional services expertise with innovation from AT&T Labs and industry-leading technology providers to deliver IT solutions spanning cybersecurity, networking, wireless, mission support, and applications. AT&T Solutions is a long-standing trusted source for information technology for the federal government. And with that, we're going to kick things off with a kind of an overall question that was one of the main questions all y'all asked when I was putting together this panel. And I think I'm going to start at the end over there with Mike, and we'll bring it all the way down. And the question is, in order to identify... question is, what would you view as the top 3 security challenges facing the IT government executives today based on your experiences with your clients?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, the rate of change in the threat landscape and the sophistication of attacks I put right there at the top, much harder to defend against. In particular, I'd mention that there are kits out there for the attackers that do a lot of the work for them, make it very easy for them to do things that they didn't used to be able to do very easily. 2, I would say the endpoints. Taking care of those endpoints, keeping them all patched up and hardened. Overnight, they become vulnerable again. So you gotta keep a lot of pressure on keeping those endpoints all patched up and secure. And then 3rd, I would say the human component. You got a lot to worry about with your people and making sure they're doing the things that are allowed according to your policies, and just keeping them up to date, keeping their cyber sense honed so that they're doing the right things and they know something that when something doesn't look right, they're able to pick that up and make the right choice.
Great. Paul?
Thanks for having us today. So I think the first one that I've heard from a few fairly candid and honest people is that budget and resources seem to be really a real problem. And then also how you articulate your ROI when you've got a problem that needs to be solved. And kind of that translation from technical to financial is always a little bit challenging, but I think that's probably my number 1. The unknown threats, I think I kind of pick up on what Michael was saying there as well. Just sort of the moving from tactical to more strategic about what do we know and what don't we know. And then the third one that I'd like to just share is sort of a personal one for us, which is mobility and how we get our arms around not just the devices, but more stepping into the mobile network and get a little visibility up into that and how we might secure that better moving forward.
Great. Chris?
So I think, and it's interesting, we're all kind of taking different cants on this, which is great for you guys. Mine, obviously being a network security vendor, are a little bit more network focused. But the things that I see as great challenges for you all are proliferate attack vectors, or more specifically, proliferate threat vectors. So tracking how information flows out of and into organizations is getting harder and harder. The number of applications and things like that we're not managing is getting more difficult, tracking and controlling that. The second one is that a lot of our network security, a lot of our defenses have been gamed, and they've been gamed for a long time. There's a relatively easy recipe for an application to get into an organization despite firewalls, despite IPSs, despite proxies. And those applications carry risk. Those applications carry threats. And the third one, and actually this is perhaps organizationally the most difficult, is the model that we have for information security, which is a basic black-white model. The idea that there's 2 kinds of traffic, business traffic and threats, is broken. So if you think about it, there's a lot of high-risk, high-reward kinds of applications that we're being expected to support on our networks. And the current security model that we have, which is, again, that allow, deny, very simplistic, very coarse model, doesn't necessarily work very well. And I view that as a challenge and an opportunity.
And Dave?
Thank you. From a Q1 perspective, we would echo some of the comments already made by my panel members. And the top 3 are not very difficult to identify, but they're difficult to deal with. We would characterize them as limited budget and resources.